All right. So this is the first standard that we're going to talk about, finding the slope, given a graph, a table, or two coordinates. Okay, so for this first one, slope, remember, is rise over run. So you're going to find, what I like to do is I start with the lowest point, kind of like an elevator. We've talked about that a couple times before. And you're going to have to go up the elevator and then get off and then run to your room. Okay, so how many floors up the elevator did you go? 8. And then you went back 1 towards your room. Just like a number line, to the left is negative, to the right is positive. So this slope is 8 over -1, which is the same thing as -8. All right, the next one, start down low. Your rise, how much you go up, is 1. Your run to the right, how much you go over, is 5. So your slope is 1 over 5. Don't forget you have to go up the elevator first. Start with one of the points. Your rise is 0. Your run is, who cares? It's a number. It doesn't matter because your slope is 0. Just like if you're walking on the floor, there's no slope. You're just walking. And then last but not least, for this one, your rise is 2 and your run is a +4. +2 over +4. Make sure you always simplify your slopes. All right, that's finding the slope given a graph. Next part, given a table. When we had lines, our rise is really the change in y. Some teachers use the formula, the change in y over the change in x. So the change in y from the bottom point to the top point is similar to this. The change in y from the bottom point to the next point in that example is a +2. Now we have to make sure that all of these points form a line. So we're going to keep going and make sure that the change in y's are all the same. And in this case, they are. They're +2. That's the number that goes on the top. That's your rise. The difference in the y's, up and down. And then your run is the difference in your x's, that you go back and forth. So we're going to make sure that the runs are all consistently the same, up and over, up and over. -2 to -1 is a +1, +1, add 1, add 1. Slope is 2 over 1, which equals 2. All right, for the next one, 8 to 7 is -1, -1, -1, -1. So our change in y is consistently subtracting 1. Our change in x, that's your run. 2 to 4 is adding 2. 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. Consistent, your slope is -1 over 2. All right, change in y, starting with your rise. -1 to +5 is 6. Now when I look at this, I think, oh my gosh, it jumps way to 23. So I'm going to look at the x's. And I notice that it kind of jumps. The 10 is out of place. The 10, almost, if I put them in order, should be down here on the bottom. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So my x's, if I rearrange that 10, is all going to consistently increasing by 2. So now let's look at the y's. 5 to 11 is adding 6. 11 to 17 is adding 6. And 17 to 23 is adding 6. So my slope is 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. Sometimes you got to make sure that the points are in order. I do that on purpose. All right, the next one. Change in y's. 10 to 15 is 5. 15 to 20 is 5. 20 to 30 is a 10. 30 to 35 is a jump, or to 5. I wonder if in here, maybe I deleted one of the rows. Because if I would have had 25 in here, then it would have been good. So let's just check the x's out and see if we jump something over there too. -5 to -3 is a +2. -3 to 1 is a +2. -1 to +1 is a +2. Uh-oh. Because my x's were consistently increasing by 2 and my y's jumped, this is not a line. It's not linear. I don't want to see undefined. It's not a line, not linear. All right, last but not least, and probably one of the most important parts, is finding the slope given 2 points. The way I like to do it is I like to write them on top of each other so it looks like a table above. And you just do the same thing. They're saying 2 points make a line, so we don't have to worry about not linear. We're just going to find the slope. So my change in y, my rises, 20 to -3 on a number line is a -23. 13 to -6 on a number line is a negative. You're going from a positive 13 down to a -6 is a -19. Negatives cancel out, so it's a positive 23 over 19. The next one, I'm going to cross the 10 and the 8 out. From 0 to 8 on a number line is a positive 8. From -6 to 10 is a positive 16. 8 over 16 is 1/2. Make sure the change in y's is on the top. It's rise over run. Last one, -1 to 16. The change from -14 to a positive 16 is a positive 30. 11 to -1 is -12. Simplify that to 5 over -2. It doesn't really matter where you put the negative. If it's with the 2 out front, the 5, it doesn't really matter. -2 to 9. The change in y's from 9 to 9 is 0. I know there is a change in the x's, and I don't care what it is. It's a number. 0 over any number is equal to 0. You have to write 0. If you leave it 0 over positive 9, it's not right. You haven't told me